Hey folks, Eric Bray, Focus Fishing Guide Service. Got another video fishing report for you for Table Rock Lake. It is Tuesday, November the 7th. I've been on the water pretty much every day this past week. Got a lot of trips in, most of them on Table Rock. I did have one trip on Taneycomo this past week, but pretty much everything else has been on Table Rock. As far as our lake level is concerned, we are at 916.02. Pretty steady from last week, and there's some things going on, why that's happening, why the Corps not dropping the lake anymore. But we haven't moved much, not really dropping towards that winter pool right now, and the main reason being is that the oxygen level in the lake is low. Kind of looked at some of that stuff online the other night, and talking with some of the guys at the Corps, they have to put liquid oxygen into the water when they release it out of Table Rock in order to keep the trout alive below Table Rock or on Taneycomo. And the oxygen level is so low on Table Rock right now that they can only release so much because they can only add so much liquid oxygen to it. They don't have the capacity to put more liquid oxygen in, so that has diminished how much they can release from Table Rock into Taneycomo. That's why our lake level hasn't changed that much. Also think that has something to do with why the fishing's been so tough. There's not a whole lot of dissolved oxygen in the water right now. Most of it is up in the upper part of the water column, and of course the water that they draw out of Table Rock into Taneycomo comes from about 140 feet down, and there's very little dissolved oxygen down there. That's part of the reason why the fishing's been so tough. As far as our water temperature is concerned, we're still in the low 60s. Yesterday I think I saw 64.5. Been seeing somewhere between 62 to 64 pretty much all week long. Even with these colder nights and colder days, it's chilly right now. The water temperature really hasn't dropped all that much. Hopefully shorter days, colder nights. Man, we need some rain. If we could get a little bit of cold rain, we'd start dropping that water temperature down. If we got some more rain, it would also raise that oxygen level, and I really think that would kind of kick those fish up and get them going a lot better than they're going right now. But if you guys are coming down, say you're going to fish the lower end of the lake, still a few good bites going on down at the lower end of the lake. Fished the lower end the last couple of days I was down there, and we're catching them a variety of different ways. Yesterday, fished with a young man from St. Louis, and we started the day throwing a crankbait and caught some decent fish on a rock crawler, caught some decent fish on a wigglewort, most of them on channel swing type banks, bluffy type banks, where it breaks down from big rock to small rock to gravel. Most of them are about 8 to 12 foot deep. Didn't load the boat by any means, but we did catch some on a rock crawler and on a wigglewort. Still catching them on a drop shot rig, shad shape worm, Yamamoto cut-tail worm, the new UV drop shot worm, and of course a chomper's drop shot worm. All those are working on a drop shot. Seems like the bite is best out on those gravel points, gravel flats, those long gravel runouts really seem to be where we're catching most of the drop shot fish right now. And then on a jig, we caught a few on a jig yesterday, most of them on a Jewel Pro Spider jig. Okeechobee Blue, Green Pumpkin Candy, Table Rock Secret, all those have been really good colors. Matching that up with either a Sweet Beaver or a UV Beaver or with the Zoom Speed Craw. Seemed like the jig fish were relating more to wood cover. The ones we caught yesterday were definitely holding in brush piles. So using the jig down there, 7/16 and 5/16, Jewel Pro Spider jig was definitely the better jig we had yesterday. If you're going into the Kimberling City area, a lot of the same bites are working. Catching a few on a crankbait, rock crawler, wigglewort, same type of banks, those channel swing transition banks where it goes from big rock to small rock to gravel. Usually about 8 to 12 foot deep seems to be the magic depth. Not catching a lot of fish, but if you work enough of those channel swings, you can catch a limit doing that. Catching them on a jig as well. Spider jig, Pro Spider jig was the best one. Again, Okeechobee Blue's been a really good color. Table Rock Secret, Green Pumpkin Candy, matched up with a Speed Craw, matched up with a UV Beaver. Both of those are working. Drop shot rig is still hanging on. Still catching quite a few on a drop shot rig. Shad shaped worm, Yamamoto cut tail, UV drop shot worm and the chompers drop shot worm. All those are working. We're catching fish on all those baits. Again, it seems like those gravel runouts, gravel flats are best. Anywhere from about 25 to about 35 seems to be key depth. And again, you'll see one or two on the bottom, and then when you set the hook, you'll see the bottom actually explode. And then a spinnerbait. I'm catching quite a few on a spinnerbait. The last, I guess it was Friday. I was up around Kimberling City, and we caught quite a few on a spinnerbait as well. War Eagle, tandem spinnerbait, tandem willow leaf blades. Mouse has been a really good color. Spot remover has been a good color. And most of those fish are relating to wood as well. It's kind of a, get to those steeper, chunky rock banks. If you see a laydown, you see a stump on it, make sure you throw a spinnerbait by it, especially if there's wind on it. We've been catching quite a few on a spinnerbait too. Go up into the James River and catching a lot of fish up the James right now on a spinnerbait, just like we were talking about in the Kimberling City area. It seems like the spinnerbait bite's a little bit stronger up the James than it is anywhere else. War Eagle tandem willow leaf spinnerbait, mouse has been good, white chartreuse has been good, and spot remover. All those colors have been really good colors up there. Again, we're fishing those steeper banks both on the main lake and in the creeks, looking for wood cover. Ants Creek has got a lot of those banks that have some stumps on them or have some laydowns on them, especially towards the back. That's been pretty good. Up into Woolly, some of those other creeks where you've got some laydowns and stuff on those steeper banks, those have been good. But really, it seems like wind's a key. If you don't have any wind blowing on it, you're kind of wasting your time with the spinnerbait right now. Have been catching them on a crankbait up there too. Rock crawler's been good. Wigglewort's been good. Same sort of banks. Those transition areas where it goes from big rock to small rock to gravel, 8 to 12 foot deep, still the same magic depth up there as well. And then of course a jig. Caught a lot of fish on a jig up the James one was up there last week. Pro Spider jig has been really strong. Okeechobee Blue, Table Rock Secret, Green Pumpkin Candy, matched up with a Speed Craw or a UV Beaver, either one. And it seems like those fish are about 6 to 15 foot deep up there. And again, they are relating more to rock and wood up there than they are just out on flat gravel. It seems like the better fish are hanging on those channel swing banks. They really want to move shallow, but until the oxygen level gets a little bit better and the water cools down a little bit, I don't think we're going to see those fish quite as shallow as we'd like to see them right now. Go up into the White River, and the same bites are working in the White River that are working all over the lake. Spent, I guess it was last Thursday, I was up the White all day long. Fished everywhere from Baxter all the way up through above Shell Knob, and had a couple of pretty good days up there actually. Best bite was definitely on a jig up there. We caught quite a few fish on a jig and a shaky head. Using the Jewel Pro Spider jig, 7/16 or 5/16. Green Pumpkin Candy, Okeechobee Blue, Table Rock Secret. Most of the fish we caught up there, it was matched up with a Speed Craw. We were also throwing the Jewel Squirrel Head with a Speed Craw on it. Caught quite a few fish doing that. Watermelon Candy on the Speed Craw on that. Did catch some crankbait fish up there too. Rock Crawler, Wigglewort, both those baits are working really well. Again, those same locations, those transition areas where it goes from big rock to small rock to gravel. 8 to 12 foot deep has kind of been the magic depth with that. On the jig, the depth was about the same, about 6 to 12. It seemed to be where most of the fish were. Spinnerbait's working if you get a windy day, and God knows we've had some windy days the last week. Caught quite a few on a War Eagle in mouse and spot remover last week. Tandem willow leaf blades on those steeper rocky transition banks. That just seems to be where the fish are. And then we caught quite a few on a drop shot up there too. Shad shaped worm, Yamamoto cut tail, then the UV drop shot worm and the chompers drop shot worm out on those gravel runouts, anywhere from about 25 to about 45. Seems like the magic depth, and they're definitely on gravel. Most of those are going to be Kentuckys, but you can catch a decent limit out there doing that if you want to go out and drop shot a little bit. So there are some good bites up the White too. Probably the best bite on the lake is up the White River right now. Guys, it is almost halfway through November, and it's chilly, and our lake should be cooling off. I mean, right now the wind's whistling through my ears, and it's kind of cold, but lake's getting better. It's not fishing as tough as it was, say, 2 weeks ago. I really think our biggest issue is the oxygen level right now. I think if we get a little bit more rain, we got a little bit of rain yesterday, they're calling for a little bit of rain tonight. A little bit more rain will make a big difference, and I think these cooler nights are going to make a really big difference. But the fishing's good. It's getting better. I mean, it's better than it was last week. It's better than it was the week before. So we are catching some fish. We're having some fun. If you guys are coming down, remember we're running winter rates now through the end of February, so you can save $50 on a guide trip. Got a lot of fishing going on. Got actually some open dates through November into December. So maybe you guys are coming down for Thanksgiving or coming down for the Christmas shows. Want to get a morning of fishing in? Great idea. Give me a call. Anyway, if you're coming down, you want to go fishing, get a hold of me. It's Focus Fishing Guide Service. You can reach me at 417-860-4743. Hit my website, focusfishing.com. Shoot me an email or book online. Either way, I'll get back to you within 12 hours. Set up our dates, set up our times. Thanks for watching the videos, guys. Again, thanks for subscribing. If you got a minute, haven't subscribed, please subscribe. But thanks for watching. Can't wait to hear from you. We'll see you on the water.